Hi everybody, welcome to week number 7. And the cool thing about week number 7 is that right around noon on Thursday, we're halfway done with the class, at least time-wise. And that means that we are moving along, and that means you get to go yay, because that's about all the time you have. Because you're very, very busy, I know, with all of your other courses, work, and everything else that you have going on in your life. And I appreciate all of your work, and that is great. But we're going to get things done here, and then you're going to even have some more time to sit back, relax, and maybe even breathe as we head into the holiday season. But that's a few weeks off. Taking a look at what we've gotten done, well, last week was the last week for the news awarenesses, or maybe news aware-nigh assignments. Not sure which would be correct, but news aware-nigh sounds cooler, so we'll go with that. And then we're going to be looking at a couple of things in the discussion forum. One is, first off, you're going to be agreeing with your opponents. Agreeing with your opponents. Why would we want to agree with opponents? Well, sometimes our opponents are bringing about a topic that we agree with. For example, we could agree that the United States has a debt problem. I think that would be pretty agreeable if you follow the debt clock at all, and you see trillions and you see it just, spinning and spinning and with no signs of stopping, and you see that every individual in the United States has share of that debt keeps going up, you would say, yes, we have a debt problem. However, that doesn't mean we don't have a debate. What it means is we're not sure which approach is the best to fix it. So you may not agree with what the government side, which would be the one that would support doing something about it, you may not agree with the idea that they're going to take however approach they're going to take to fix it. You may not agree with that approach. It may be coming down to taking funds from A and adding funds to the debt, taking funds from B, adding funds to the debt. You go, wait. B is really something we need, so we can't take funds from B. Let's look at C, or let's look at other alternatives to that. And that's where the disagreement would lie. So there are times when you would agree with the Prime Minister because the topic is pretty much set up that, yeah, it's true. I can't argue the topic, but I can argue how the fix would be made and applied. And the second speech, or the second discussion, deals with a speech, and it actually deals with a full debate, and you can watch that debate if you would like. But what you are going to do with that debate is you're going to listen to the Prime Minister's speech, and then you are going to formulate some arguments against what the Prime Minister has said. Now, the debate is about drones. So in this case, I guess it's appropriate for the debaters to drone on and on. That's humor. In case you didn't catch that, I have a little cue for you here that is something that you should be laughing hysterically about, which I know you all are because that was really, really funny. On a serious side, yes, you're going to go ahead and come up with arguments against, and these can be short bullet points that you have. Not necessarily need to go out and do a lot of research on drones. There is a link to the site, but I'd like you to know more about it, but you don't have to go out and prepare as if you're preparing a speech of your own. Just get some talking points that you could use to argue against what the Prime Minister is saying in this particular speech. And you can also watch the rest of the debate, but I would like you to do that after you have answered as the leader of the opposition in this case, which is the other side of the debate. And you're also going to be beginning the preparation of the value speech. I know some of you have been thinking about it already, and that's great. And what you're thinking about when value comes into the point, we're getting out of the fact debate. For example, you may be able to do a fact debate that, the United States has a debt problem. That would be difficult, I would think, but you could do it as a fact debate. And it's either that it's more true than false. We're beyond that, and we're moving on to a value. Something is better than or worse than something else. And actually, when you're thinking about it in a debate, usually the government side is going to be bringing about something that's going to fix. It's going to be a value speech. It's not a value debate. Something is better than the other, not necessarily a fix, but it is better that we would have normalized relations with China than it is that if we do not have normalized relations with China. So that would be a value that you have. And you could look at that also from a negative side, from a standpoint of the verbiage, where you could switch that from to worse, that it would be worse to have normalized relations with China because of these reasons. So that is what you're looking at, better than or worse than. And if you're looking at something else when you're thinking about value, and if you're getting into policy, value can lead to policy, and or existing policy. You could say our existing policy dealing with how we deal with things like Medicare, maybe bankrupting us. So it would be better to change that. It would be a value to change Medicare in a sense to make it somewhat financially stable, because that would be good for the upcoming generations, which may be depending on that or something else that is similar to that. We have talked about Medicare for all, Obamacare, maybe there's a combination there, whatever. However it ends up looking like, you would be having a value in that. So value really is something that's going to be standalone for your speech, but it's also something that is going to be built into a policy as well. And the news awarenesses, or news awarenai. News awarenai sounds more scholarly, so we're going to go with that. The news awarenai are done, and if you did all 6, that means you got 60 out of 50 points. Cool. So you're ahead of the game. And if you got all 5, that means you got 100%. That's cool. And if you got less than 5, and I don't think anybody did, then that would be not a good thing. And we're looking at also keeping up with the Wiki EDU. And I know that some of you have been doing very well with that. Others are having a bit of an issue. And just remember overall, when it comes down to the grade, it's not how well you did. It's that you had put in the effort and you've tried and you've done something that's going to, that you're looking at, that you believe that you have done as best as you can. And your report out is just going to be the experience, and the report out itself is where the grade is generated. It's not generated on the content. It's just generated on how it's prepared, and that you did work with it and you did actually give a good college try, and that's how it ended up. Or you got maybe a bit further and you had some good edits and maybe put together some good pieces, whatever. Either way, both sides would be doing okay with it, but you got to try. If you've not tried yet, please get in there and jump in, at least start and try. So that is what we have for week number 7. Remember, Thursday at noon. Yay! And also remember to be working on your value speech, checking out those discussions, and you will be on top of the game as you go through in the Wiki EDU as well. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you in week number 7 and celebrating with you on Thursday at noon. Yay! And until then, I will be seeing you online.